And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for not the third hour, this is the second hour of The Burning Wheel. Now, as we come back, we join Minnow standing outside at townhouse in Greywater with his brother Shihao, and you have a lady love inside who you want to inform of your presence.
Yeah, this is gonna go down horribly because the man is probably home.
Yeah, so
just kill him.
He might be. So yeah, we find you outside this building, right? This is the building the same general architectural style as the rest of the city, which means like jettied stories, about 2, maybe 3 stories tall, with like a peaked roof. And what?
What is that?
A jettied story or a peaked roof?
The latter.
A peaked roof. It's basically like a roof that goes up in a pyramid.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to a flat roof.
Yeah, okay.
So there's probably like, for most of these buildings, there is attic space up top, right? So anyway, we find you outside of this, like, generally speaking, pretty well-to-do looking building. And this looks like it's on the fancy end of Greywater. It doesn't really belong in the entirely posh new districts. There are probably poorer people living in the new districts. But there are also wealthier people definitely living there.
Yes.
So yeah, there you are.
Well, the only thing he says is, just don't get in trouble, will ya? And
how could I possibly get in trouble?
When it's you, my dear brother, you can get in trouble in ways I haven't even imagined yet.
Well, considering those are usually not on purpose, I find your statement to be quite useless. I'll do my best.
That's all I ask. And then he tries to get behind the house. Is there a little, what are they called? Yard or something?
There's probably not a yard specifically, but there is like much in the same way that your house like has space behind it where buildings like sort of conjoin into alleyways that are too big to be alleyways and instead become like backyard space. Like that, this place has the same, only maybe a bit larger and a bit less cluttered and filled with garbage. You can see I added 2 little red squares. One of them is in Pike Market, one is in Greywater. The Pike Market thing is your headquarters, and the Greywater one is this townhouse.
Not that far away from each other, then?
Nope.
That's a decent walk, but yeah.
I think he'll try to gauge whether there are more people inside. You know, someone arguing would be a good indication that there is more than one home.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. There's a consequence to failing this. So we see you like go around the house and like listening, trying to get a sense of who's in there. There's light behind the windows. There are windows here, but it's like not see-through glass, right? It's just like matted, obscured. It's not see-through. Almost no glass here is probably see-through. But yeah, you can see like the orange glow of indoor lighting behind it, and you can give me a perception check to see if we can detect the presence of other people. So just roll me perception versus, let's say it's versus op 3.
Great.
If you fail it, if you succeed, you will find out that there is someone inside, aside from the one you're looking for. If you fail it, you will not notice that, and will in fact think that that she is the only one in there.
Alright. It was, what? Obstacle 3?
Obstacle 3 perception test, yeah.
Cool.
I see 2 successes.
That's all 6,
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna use Fade.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Remember to add the exclamation point at the end of the roll.
Yeah. It's roll 2d6 exclamation point.
Yep. There's a success there. Good. So you succeed.
Yay!
Cool. So you walk around and like to begin with, you maybe you hear like muted singing from inside, and you recognize like the sound of Harriet's voice, and then you hear like you notice like the cry of the baby, but it's in a different part, like a different card. Ahem. You hear the cry
Part?
of a baby, but it's in a different part of the house. But she doesn't seem like to be speeding off to get it, which implies to you that there's probably someone else in there.
Well, where is she?
Probably, yeah. So she's on the first floor. There's someone on the ground floor.
And that is where the baby is, too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Does it sound like an infant baby crying, screaming thing? It does.
Yeah.
Okay. He's contemplative. I have no idea how long ago it is in character that he was with her.
A couple of years.
Okay. Alright, she's busy.
So, what are you gonna do? You have a belief here. Do you intend to chase it?
Nope, she has a baby.
Yeah, you hear the cry of a
That
baby.
is exactly something that would completely make him not go for stuff like that in the future.
All right, cool. So, we like you. So you bug out of there.
It's like, a baby crying? No. And there's someone else in the house? No.
All right. That was easy. Okay, so we see you like you go back out to your brother.
Yeah, the first comment is, well, that was quick, even for you.
Burn.
Hey, what the hell do you know about that?
Hmm.
I don't even want to know. Let's just go.
What happened?
Baby.
You don't have to practice your speech to her on me. What happened?
She was singing on the first floor,
Uh-huh.
but a baby was crying on the ground floor, so she weren't alone.
Oh, and you were afraid the baby would judge you, I see.
No, but it could be her husband.
You're saying she's married to a baby.
No, I'm saying she's married to a man. The fact that she didn't run downstairs to get a crying baby suggests that there's something else in there too, right? Unless, of course, she
perhaps a
doesn't
nanny.
care about the baby.
Or she could have a person taking care of it for her, like a nanny. If you're lucky, you can get 2 for 1.
Well, Minnow has started walking.
All right, so you start walking off. What do you do, Xiao?
I follow, catch up to him, and say, "What? Are you afraid it's your baby?"
As if I could have a baby.
Well, I'm assuming you could, in fact, have a baby. Otherwise, I'm quite confused as to why you follow all these ladies.
It looks like he never thought about that.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
I'm not
literally,
sterile.
like, it's obvious he was about to completely shoot down that comment, and then he pauses, and then he looks slightly disturbed. Nah, it was too young to be mine. Last I saw her was a couple of years ago.
Well, who's to say it's the only baby?
Oh, please don't start that.
For all we know, you could have babies all over the world.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have to deal with them, would I?
Only if you wanted to.
Why would I
And
want
then Shihao looks thoughtful.
And why would
You
I
know,
want to?
well, there's a high chance one of your babies would be magically adept. Who knows? Maybe raising a child into a magical tradition could net us quite a powerful ally.
Because you would totally be the best uncle ever, right?
I'd probably do better than you.
You would do better than me. How? Last time you saw a baby cry, you almost ran away with fear.
Last time you saw a baby crying, you were the reason.
That's probably more accurate. I think he says that. Last time I saw a baby crying, I was probably the reason.
And that makes you think you'd do better than I would?
Well, I would at least care about this baby apprentice.
Who would be terrified of you?
For a few minutes, and then it passes.
Because that is caring for a child. Making them completely and utterly terrified of you and shit their pants and whatever they do whenever they come in contact with you every morning. Mm-hmm.
I'm quite sure they would shit their pants either way. Besides,
yeah, but
you got over
usually
it.
there are two ways of shitting your pants. Either you shit your pants because you need to shit, or you shit your pants because you're scared, and that is usually a thing that doesn't go over well with children and their later life.
Fine, you can raise the baby then.
No, thank you.
Maybe we could get Conhuai to do it.
So we see you guys like making
why
inane conversation as you're like making your way
Basically,
back to
while
Flag
they're
Wagon.
walking back, Minno's last comment will be, and why the hell are you so ups on me having a child now?
Right,
Imagine the possibilities.
we see you vanish into the background.
So you're
like,
using me as a breeding horse? Come on,
So,
I'm not a
I'm
spider.
I'm gonna cut in here. Like we see the conversation dies out as you vanish into the background down the street, and the camera like lingers in the foreground, and we turn like the perspective turns around and we see like the side of the townhouse again, and it cuts to inside, where we see Harriet Joy doing some needlework, like she's mending some clothes. And like we hear the sound of a baby crying, and then someone downstairs being like, "Oh no, little one, shh, shush, shush now, you be quiet." Yes, there we go. And like the crying dies out, and we hear like the singing like takes over again, like she starts singing, just a soft tune to herself. She does some needlework by candlelight, and then there's a knock on the door. And she turns her head and she shouts, "Michael, get that, will you?" And the camera like the camera turns and we follow like a small child, like probably I would say like 5 to 6 years of age, looking distinctly like Minnow and Shihao, but much younger. Run down the stairs, turn a corner and run over to the door, open a latch. And then he shouts up to his mom like, "Mom, it's the watch!" And she's like, it cuts down to it cuts to downstairs. She joins her son, and the door's opened, and we see like 3 guardsmen, like 3 watchmen with quarterstaffs and rain cloaks, looking at her saying, "Excuse me, ma'am, could we talk to you for a moment?" And we cut from there.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the ones who followed you.
And we skipped the whole baby problem. This one has
For
had a
now.
kind of...
So, when we fade back in, it's probably the following day, unless you want to do something by moonlight.
Well, my mood has been lifted, but when I get back, I want to scowl at everyone to make them feel uncomfortable.
Sure, that you don't actually have to roll to do that. They feel incredibly uncomfortable around you in general.
Well, make it more uncomfortable then.
Is that something Minnow would have realized that his mood has lifted?
From their conversation, probably.
Hmm.
He very much enjoys teasing you about your possible babies.
And Minnow flustering slightly at the thought of actually having to deal with a baby. uh,
So let's talk about this upcoming trip you want to go on the following day. Nicholas, you're like the trailblazer on this one. You decide like where you're going and why you're going. So tell us a little bit about what you're actually setting about doing with these two newcomers.
I am taking these two newcomers to go to the close to the border between Ariasta and the Stormlands and beyond to pick up our latest shipment of fairy dust from a group of suppliers among the elves from beyond the storm wall, who are looking for using this as a means to sow dissent and agitation among the Ariastans who they hope to conquer.
All right, cool. So yeah, when so the road you want to travel, right? You want to travel north of the border, out of Askane and into Lylan, which is north of Eriastor, and between Eriastor and the Stormlands. And like it's probably in there beyond the border. Like they do the drop off there, and some of your people like take it through, like sneak it past customs and then get it shipped down through the province to Manning Bridge.
Yes.
Cool. So I don't think you have any problems going north. Actually, I think a lot of people are going north, right? A lot of people also come south. You see, like a lot of refugees, like with wagon trails, just heading south. But they're like detachments of soldiers and like recruits and draft levies traveling north to bolster the defenses. For the I mean, for those of them who believe in these stories, right? But everyone agrees that refugees are here for some reason, even if they some of them may speak nonsense. So let's talk about undertaking this kind of journey. We'll do this journey to reach your contacts as a series of tests to see if everything goes like how well everything goes.
We're gonna fuck up.
Yeah, we always do.
So, what are the elements of such a journey in your opinions?
well, how long would it take?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see about. I want to say 6 days, maybe 6 days of travel, maybe a bit more to go from Manning Bridge to North Cross. Actually, let's go to the proper map here.
Let's do that.
That's not the right map. This is the right map.
No.
Okay. So you're in Manning Bridge, which is down there, and you're going all the way north through the province up to North Cross. So you're going from here to here, and you can travel by like the caravan road. So it's pretty easy to not have to deal with like broken wagon wheels and so on, because there is actually a semblance of a proper road here. It's not cobbled, at least not all the way, but it's there. But it's a matter of I think maybe like you don't ship your stuff through North Cross because North Cross is like the northernmost city with the northernmost castle of Eriastor, and consequently is like a defensive point versus Lylan.
Yeah.
For when those countries have been in skirmishes in the past. So I think like the security up there, and like they have there are walled cities, and all the horribleness like a smuggler would hate the living crap out of. So I think you actually like you maybe like ship your stuff through. Those might be some of the tunnels we were talking about. Maybe there are a combination of like of inner mountain passes that are connected through smuggling systems that you know of and that you can use to kind of ship things past the mountain chain to the north without going through the city. Does that sound right to you?
Sounds good.
Okay. So in that case, you're gonna get advantage on this, just for the purpose, just for the reason that you've done this multiple times. Like this is known to you. What I want to see from you is I want an orienteering test to not get lost when you get off road. Let's see about that. So
Orienteering, good.
finding your way is orienteering. You take significant advantage for that, but it could go wrong.
I mean, you could always have Shihao do it. He actually has orienteering.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have.
Yeah.
Like, Nikki doesn't have to be the one doing these tests. It's just you're the one who knows where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Then what more do we need to do this test?
I sort of have a follow-up question, though.
Yeah, let's hear your question then.
Didn't... We have 6 days on the road.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 6 days
And
from
then-
Manning Bridge to North Cross.
And then we have 6 days back.
Yeah.
Wasn't it something about him wanting to learn something from Minnow?
No, that belief was changed.
Okay.
But it's 6 days to North Cross, and you need to go beyond North Cross. So I want to say it's probably not 12 days in total. It's probably more like 14 days total. All right. So here's what we need to do. We need to do the orienteering test. We need to the seasonal counter takes over. Not the seasonal counter. The month counter, the resource cycle takes over while you're on this travel. So we need a resources test from you to see if your swag gets damaged or something happens, or if you make your upkeep.
Right, so roll with the resources die.
Yeah, we'll need. I'm just making a note of what we need to test on this journey. So resources need to be tested.
No modifiers or penalty. Well,
Don't
I
roll it
assume no
yet.
modifiers.
Don't roll it yet. We're talking about like what goes into a journey.
Yeah.
I guess since you're not actually, you might be stopping at travelers' rests and so on for a part of the travel, all right, when you're going on the road. But when you go off road, you need to kind of deal with your own survival. So I guess maybe a fire building test would be in order. Fire building
Alright.
and hunting.
Could we substitute foraging?
Yeah, I would allow you to substitute foraging.
I can do that.
Yes.
And
Which I think is probably how Shihao would have told Nick. He's like, oh, you need to find your way. I can do that.
very
Mm-hmm.
nice. What else? You wanted to bring the striders, right?
Yes, we did.
Cool. So an animal handling, which is what is that called? Is it called animal handling, or is it called animal husbandry? There is a skill for getting animals to do what you want.
One of them is for getting them to do what you want. The other one is for marrying them.
Yeah.
Raising, care, and breeding of animals. And
Hmm.
we have anyone like off the top of their head could figure a skill that has something to do with controlling animals.
Power.
Yeah.
Driving.
Driving.
That sounds
I'm not
like-
driving it.
You
Yeah, driving to
climb inside the Strider and drive it.
driving
No,
is used to
not that.
maneuvering carts and carriages over roads, and that's what you're using them for, right?
Yeah.
I guess we are using carts.
So
Are we?
driving.
I had no idea. What skill do they go on?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay, sorry. What ability does that go on?
Driving is rooted in will and agility.
Okay. I'll be using will then.
You'll be using both.
Huh?
It's one of those annoying skills that gets weaker because it has to run off two things.
I think.
Oh.
Let's actually. I don't know how beginner's luck works when it's dual rooted. I guess you probably just roll one of them. Anything? Let's see. What else goes into a journey?
Surviving it?
It's true. Let's see about if we have a. I mean, orienteering and foraging is, I guess, would be our substitutes for raw surviving thing, if there is such a thing as a survival skill.
Pooping unnoticed by animals?
Inconspicuous then.
Survival teaches the character how to build shelters, find water, and stay warm and cool in adverse conditions. So this would be if you wanted to like stay a place and yeah. So I think you I could see you like use forking survival or using foraging like to foraging or hunting and so on to other forester type skills to work that. But I don't think it's strictly necessary because you're not trying to survive in the wild. You're just trying to go through basically. Yeah, I think we'll settle for this for now. So I want to see from you guys first an orienteering, actually first a driving test.
I'll give that to Minnow, unless anyone else wants it.
And I'm going to find out how beginner's luck works when you have dual rooted skills.
My excuse will be my animals have never really pulled a cart.
Yeah, you pick the skill, the stat you want to test.
Yeah, I already did.
All right, so so Minnow will be doing the driving test. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Minnow, what exponent, what stat will you be using?
Will.
Will, okay. So let's see, driving these things. One of them has a decent rapport with you. You have a good relationship with one of them.
Well, how many of them do we need? Do we need both, or do we need one?
You tell me.
I'm asking the guy who knows how much this stuff weighs and fills and shit like that.
All right, Chris. Would it be preferential for you to have two things dragging the cart, or is one gonna cut?
Let me think. It would definitely be preferential. I mean, it can be done with the one, but it will make it quicker if you've got the two.
Cool.
Okay. Then it's both.
All right. So in that case, let's see about that. It's basically like a substitute for riding in those cases. This wouldn't be a problem if you weren't going off-road, of course.
Nope.
You say that so accusatory, in such an accusatory fashion.
Not at all. Not at all.
So it's easier if you just didn't go off-road.
Yeah, why don't you just go through the like extremely dangerous, heavily monitored breaching point between the two countries, like where
Yeah,
the
well,
customs
I think,
would be the tightest.
Shiha will point out around 9 times that, well, that wouldn't be a problem if we hadn't gone off-road.
I'll fill out the part of the map that would represent like where this route would go for next time, so we can see that. All right, so I'm going to set the obstacle at. It's going to be obstacle 3 to drive these things, but you're going to get advantage for having a good for one of the basically like knowing you and feeling safe in your company. So roll
one
your
being
will.
a male, the other being a female, and therefore the male is usually the one protecting the female anyway.
But But there you go. So give me a will test. You have a modifier of 1. And the obstacle is 3. But since you don't have driving, it's obstacle 6. The consequence for failing this is... Let's see. Do any of you have a suggestion for the consequence for this?
The new one could break free and run away.
That the one that doesn't like me will refuse to move at all.
Yeah, not moving isn't gonna push us forward in any way. It's not gonna be a thing that we can do anything about.
One of them will suddenly start giving birth, violently spewing Strider babies all over.
Just a cannon. No, I like the suggestion. Like one of them breaks away, and
that would probably be the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Like me.
That's the consequence of failing that. All right. So give us the test.
I'll have
Nice
to succeed on everything except 1. Nope.
Looking good.
There's a 6.
There is a 6 in there. Do you want to try it?
Try what? Get 2 successes, 1.
Yeah.
Well, if you explode it. If you use fate, all 6s will be rolled.
I will fate into my will, but I will get nothing out of it, other than that.
Well, you could roll a 6, and then that would re-roll again, and if you get a success, then you would meet the obstacle.
Yeah, but I won't get any good tests into my thing.
No.
Well, this is a difficult or challenging test, isn't it?
This is a... let's see...
Oh no, wait, you have a lot of will.
Yeah, there's a high will there. It's probably routine. If it's probably not difficult, it's probably a routine test. So this would be the first test towards learning driving.
The amount of time you fail routine tests is quite astonishing.
Yeah, this is what the point of beginner's luck is, right? This is why you still earn advancement.
No, but you don't get any on anything anyway, because you cannot get anything on will or perception or any of the others with a routine test.
No, that's it. So if you were to this test is,
no.
There we go. So no. All right. So mark 1 fate towards your will. So you earn a fate towards your will, and then start learning driving.
No, thank you.
This is not optional.
But I don't want it.
That's fine. Then in the future, don't be the one doing the driving.
And what do I do about that?
Driving is... What's your question?
Nothing. It just didn't want to do what I wanted it to do.
Right.
Because Roll20 never wants to do what I want to do.
You have like a very hostile relationship with the Roll20, I will admit that.
That's because I don't have any good things about Roll20. It's always being a bitch.
There we go.
Anyway, I only need 4 more than I have driving on B5.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not that I will ever need to drive because we don't even have a car, but okay.
Well, we have a cart.
That's
yeah.
Exactly right. Knowing how to
so doesn't like me.
Yeah. So we'll get into like the exact description of what transpires on this journey once we've made all the checks. So this happens as you're driving, right? You're driving. We know that eventually over the course of this journey, one of these animals break free and runs off. Give me and then like along the journey, you also have to make some fire building tests to keep yourself warm out in the discomfort of the open wilderness. And if you fail,
what the hell kind of skill do we need for that?
Fire building.
Is that a skill?
Yeah.
Sounds yucky. Or does it run off?
Who would like to do the fire building?
Does it run off anything I'm good at?
I'm gonna find it for you.
Well, you can. He can set fire to things, so
he can indeed.
True.
You would think he would be good at it, but no, he cannot build a fire.
Fire building is of perception.
Ooh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Why is it on perception? What the hell?
I'll try to build the fire. to begin with without using magic? Do we get any modifiers?
So my question is, what kind of fire are you building?
A bonfire
Okay.
thingy.
A bonfire.
One where you can sit around and be warm.
The one that keeps us warm at night.
So there's like it differentiates.
What else kind of fire would I build?
It differentiates between campfire and bonfire and smokeless fire and concealed fire.
Oh, well, I think campfire would probably be the one I'm looking for. Bonfire is bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bonfire.
Oh, a campfire then.
All right.
I think actually I would like to build a 2-story big burning man.
Okay. Let's get alternative rock up in this.
Yep. Now a campfire.
All right. So give me a campfire test. It's obstacle 1. You don't have it, so it's obstacle 2.
Any modifiers? For foraging, I may be good at finding campfire sticks.
No. Actually,
Okay.
I'm deliberating whether to give you a penalty, because of like this climate we've established like is kinda out of the Pacific Northwest, which means a lot of like it's cold and it's wet. So maybe it's like it gets a bit harder to find proper firewood once you're off road. But then again, it's very densely forested. We also established that, so that those would cancel each other out. Yeah, just make me an up 2 test.
Oop, oop, oop.
Oppa, oppa.
The consequence for failing this is
I don't fail.
Okay, cool. I should have established this before you rolled, but it's fine.
Yeah, you were about to, and I interrupted before. But so, what were the consequences? We die?
No, I think the consequences would be that like I would ask your opinion, but I would go with probably either that it's like someone or something notices your fire right one day in the wild, and we need to run a brief moment of like you driving off a wild animal and see if you get any cuts and scabs or something like that. Or I would have you be,
it gets really cold, so we have to cut up one of the striders and sleep in it.
Fuck no.
I would love that.
You are keeping your hands off Hemsworth.
You thought they smelled bad on the outside. No, yeah. Otherwise I was gonna go with like you may catch a cold and like get penalized on your health tests until you get better.
Catch cold, get penis.
Yep. No, but this is fine. So you succeed on this test. So earn a start unlocking fire building.
Yay! Actually, I want that one because you never know when you have to leave a city for setting half of it on fire.
Absolutely. You could also get better at setting the city on fire if you wanted to train arson.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I'm starting to question the sanity of my brother.
Alright. So far so good.
What sanity?
Then there was something about staying fed on the road and you wanted to do foraging, so like look for berries and so
I
on.
do.
Yeah. Did you
Can I
want to
help
do
him with observation?
that? What did you want to say, Jay?
Can I help him with observation?
No, observation is not applicable. But you can tell me, like, if you want to help, all of you can help on these tests. Like, this is not just one guy having to do the tests. All of you can chip in. You just need to tell me, like, how your characters are chipping in, right? Tell me how you, from a role-playing perspective, are doing this, and we'll see if you can add something.
That is what I was trying to ask you. But
Yeah,
since observation can't help, then I don't think I have anything that can help. I have herbalism, but would that even be helpful?
Bum.
Bum.
I don't think any of my skills are particularly useful for. Unless grift-wise is useful for something.
It's not in this case.
Or
Not
dare
unless
it
you
not
can
be
tell
good
me-
enough.
Not unless you can fictionally position yourself in a way that convinces me it is.
No, I don't think I can. You're a stubborn and obstinate GM, so convincing you is actually that's not true. And that's very unflattering. You're wonderful. You're open to all kinds of suggestions, but
An anvil materializes in the empty air above Nicholas and drops at insane speeds, and as you start saying that, it like slows down until eventually like it completely stops and then starts floating up again.
Lovely. Yes. If an animal traveling at that speed would not just cause him to get a bump, it would cave his head into his stomach. So I'm glad that we.
Helpful.
Mhm.
I'm asking
Yes,
Daniel, and he never answered me.
Let me hear your question again, AJ.
Is herbalism helpful?
Yeah, I could see herbalism being useful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can throw something in there, right? So you're not essentially helping to find. It's not that much you're finding berries and roots and edible stuff. It's more like you're helping by being like, no, those aren't edible. Don't get those.
I found these. Don't eat them, you'll die.
Those will make you puke babies. Don't eat those.
Those will make sure you don't get babies. Eat them, a lot of them.
So foraging. Do I get any modifiers then?
Yeah, you get a helping die from your brother.
Kill. Base obstacle.
The base op for this foraging is, let's see, there are 3 of you and an animal.
The goat eats grass. There's a lot of this.
Yeah, that's
Only.
true.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The goat
Feeding
can
yourself
graze.
in the wild. And I'm gonna add modifiers for a lot of you. So this is gonna be, make me an op 3, I think. Make me an op 3 foraging test.
You should probably specify what happens when I fail.
That's a good idea. The foraging test, if you fail on this, you are like the journey. What's gonna happen is like you don't find as much as you would like to, so you find some stuff, but it's basically not enough, and you wind up like being kind of starved on the journey, so you feel pretty shit on it, like on the whole. And I'm going to increase the obstacle for further tests because you're like doing it on an empty stomach.
At some point, Shiha will start suggesting we eat Nikki.
Okay, let's see the test.
I like the fact that it was if I fail, it was when I fail.
There's a 6 in there.
Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can unfail this. Unfail my heart.
Spend all the fate.
I mean, you get a lot of it, so.
You do.
No,
So close. It just had to be the exact opposite in terms of the die count. Okay.
So can I mark some sort of test for my foraging?
Yeah, you can mark a difficult foraging test.
Ooh, cool. I only need 2 of those, I think.
Very good. So,
Very good.
Foraging. So that happened, and then... Okay, so that's the journey taken care of. Then let's talk about your resources, because over the course of this travel, the month ticks over, and the resource cycle commences. So this will be our first time we do a resource cycle. And once we've done that, we'll take a break, and then we'll come back to you guys and like
Dying.
see you doing the journey as we've established here. So let me find the resource cycle.
I still haven't rolled my orienteering.
Let's
You can
have
still
you
get
roll your
lost.
orienteering. God damn it, you're right. Let's have you roll your orienteering. So your orienteering is basically a matter of how long are you spending on the road, and the complication for if you fail it is you have to spend like an extra day or 2 on the road, and and back in Manning Bridge, that delay is gonna have some consequences for Nikki's gang.
Cool. I know it's not the scientific one, but astrology still takes me looking at the stars. Can I fork in that?
You can always fork astrology. Astrology is forkable on every skill.
Seriously?
Yep.
Then
Okay,
you can
from
get
now
one
on,
for
I
eating.
always fork astrology.
So here's the thing you might want to keep in mind here. You can fork astrology on any test because you're looking for the omens, and right, you're seeing if the fates are with you, and if they are, then 2 thumbs up, right? You did the thing. Astrology is always open-ended too. So let's say you had let's say you forked astrology on that foraging test, right? There would be an extra die in there. If that extra die was a 6, we would re-roll that 6 indefinitely. But if that's and this is the interesting part about astrology. Astrology is open-ended in both directions. So if it had been a 1, it would detract successes and then just continue to do so. until you
Can I
start rolling
Interesting.
more.
with astrology then?
What'd you say, AJ?
Can I help him with his astrology then?
Yeah.
Yay! Helping die from
So I
birth.
get 2 helping die.
Yeah, you get 2 astrology dice. So do an orienteering test and do a modifier of
Obstacle.
2 for your astrology.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is the astrology dice when we do it in Roll20, we'll say the astrology dice are always the 2 last dice in the line. So once you've rolled, we'll like take a look at what you rolled, and if the last 2 dice are either 1 or 6, we will re-roll them as appropriate with astrology.
Okay.
So what is the base obstacle?
Let's get
The
completely lost.
Yeah, let's find the base obstacle for this. The base obstacle is it also by the way, take 2 more advantage die on this one, so a modifier of 4, because Nicky has traveled this road over and over and over again. His business is based on it. He knows what he's doing.
Well.
Apparently not. He didn't bring any food.
That is not strictly speaking his responsibility.
What? Sure it is. He's taking us on a journey and he doesn't bring food?
He's taking 2 Stormlanders who doesn't know this area.
Orienteering.
He should have used his
They know how to get food. Mhm.
Have we got
should
nothing?
have used his resources to get us food.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah, so this is orienteering is up 2 for this one.
That's
Actually,
gonna be
since it
interesting.
specifically is you doing it and you're being helped by Nicky, it's up 3.
What, because I don't like Nikki?
No, because for Nicky this would be up 2, for you it's up 3, but since Nicky is helping you, you're getting 2 extra dice.
Yeah, me.
Boom!
yeah, get us some biology routine check.
Alright, and the 2 last dice are not 6s or 1s, so there's no need to re-roll those. But however, and we need to keep mind of this, so this is a part of the fiction. This is important in the fiction in some way. You see this second to last die is a 5. So one of your successes on this test is because fate, right? Something with the astrology did it right for you and added to this. So now you tell me, Rasmus, since you're the one making this test.
Yes.
Tell me, like, you succeed, but it goes really well because something astrology. What is that?
Well, obviously, the constellation of the falling apple
Right?
was right in the axis of one of the outer planets, and that causes people who are traveling to have good luck.
Very cool.
So much bullshit.
No, this is
No,
true.
because the falling apple of course, that's very easy actually. The planet it has a name, but in common speak, it's also sometimes referred to as the traveler. So the falling apple is right in the line of the traveler. So he finds, an apple, and that's lucky.
Very cool. I love it. I love it to bits. Okay, this is now true of the fiction.
Yep. Had he instead encountered the hemlock, that would have been bad for us.
Oh yeah, I can see that. All right, big fan.
Ah, pity.
So resources. This will be the last thing we do before we take a break.
I just realized one thing, dear brother.
Mhm.
With all the things, all the skills there is in this game, we're fucking lucky we made it this far.
Yep. I have no
I
idea
will
how
nev-
people get anything done in this world, because even routine tests are kind of difficult.
You'll notice that even when you fail, you sometimes get what you want, but there are complications. That's how people
It's
do
like-
it in this world. You do
The
beginner's
smith
luck
is like,
tests
oh, I
and you
want to
fail
make a
all.
nail, but, this one is crooked. This one is bent. This one exploded in my face. This thumb. This one worked out, but, I hate being a blacksmith.
But all the other implications, well, you travel a lot. Do you have firebuilding? Do you have driving? Do you have orienteering? Do you have astrology? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I'm just like, what?
Well, that's specifically why I took foraging and orienteering.
Yeah, you see, it all works out. And for the rest, I mean, you can still make the other test, right? You just use beginner's luck, and in this case, as we can see, beginner's luck has actually
It
worked out for
worked.
you. It
Yeah.
did work.
Excuse me, this was orienteering.
Yeah, but you can see up there's a perception test that
Oh
succeeded.
yeah, that's just because I'm very good at perception.
Exactly. So you did that. All right. Let's see.
And then there's
Lifestyles.
just the rest with the goat running off and
Maintaining
being slightly
lifestyles.
hungry and
So we've determined our cycle. These are obstacles for maintaining various medieval lifestyle, the appropriate living quarters, the clothes, the food, etc. Once every cycle, each player must test his resources skill against his lifestyle obstacle. Determine his obstacle based on how he has been living, the assets that the assets that he maintains. All right, so let's start out by doing that. How do you each live? So you two live at the expense of Nikki.
Yep. Fuck
And the
Nikki,
goat-
give me your money.
Yeah. So you two still need to make resources tests for like maintaining your stuff and making sure your resources stay you have a chance at them getting better, but it could stuff could also go bad. Now,
so
to represent-
basically with a resource of 0 we can't roll.
yeah, yes, that's the point. You can because you have access to the funds, right? You have a 4-die fund. And if it was the case that you had 0 resources and couldn't roll, then yes, you would automatically fail, and I would destroy your stuff or do something similar, or have people come and throw you in jail, like in a debtor's prison, something like that, until you got your shit together and got out there and got some money in hand, so you have so you have stuff you can pay with. The two of you count as. You're probably counting as peasant day laborers to be true, like no home, property, or possessions to speak of. You two don't really own stuff, not really. Is that true? Like, does any of you have any anything, any equipment or any gear that is would need upkeep?
Do weapons?
You have weapons. That's true. You do. That's worth noting.
I have a stick. I can find a new one.
Yeah, alright, that's actually true. So you're not counting us up 1, you're counting us up 2. Okay, good. So, each of you give me an up to resources test.
I don't have resources.
Alright? So here's the part where the funds come in. So this works in the fiction, assuming that you have done some kind of preparation over time that we've not seen on screen, using the money you earn from doing the heist, and that you're continuously earning from selling off these bundles of exotic cloth to potential buyers. This is why this is a fund and not just cash dice. So this is assumed to happen in the game as it's being played. So you each can elect to fuck up this test and fail it with your no resources, or you can have used the funds that you have to try and maintain your equipment and your lifestyle and your health and so on.
So, as I can see here, if I get 1 challenging roll on my resources, it goes up.
Yep.
I guess everything would be a challenging roll when you have 0 resources.
Let's have a look at your resources, actually.
My resources are at 0.
You have a resources
E0.
of 0. Yeah, and if you get 1 challenging, you succeed. So if you succeed on a resources test, you get 1 resource now instead of 0.
Do I have to succeed?
Yes.
Don't I just have to make a challenging test?
Nope. Resources and perception and faith. These 3 skills have to succeed to advance.
Why specifically perception?
Because you don't get better at perception by failing to perceive stuff. In fact, it might be a sign that you're going blind.
Hey! Did I get something for perception when I saw the people inside?
Yeah. You did. No, you did not. You didn't. Yeah, wait, totally. Did you succeeded, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you mark an advance to your perception for that.
Which one?
Let's have a look at what that roll was. That roll was minnow.
Obstacle 3.
Yep, I see it. So that's a difficult test for you. So mark a difficult perception test.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you're telling me that my resource difficulty is 2, yes?
Yep.
And can I get a bonus die for the Lylan cloth deal?
No, but you have 4 dice because of the Lylan cloth deal.
So my resources is currently B4.
It's not your resources are not D4, but you have access to a 4D fund.
And is that shared with everyone, or is it just mine?
Unless Nikki wants to keep it away from you guys, you can all dive into it, right? This is the part where you all succeeded on this test, on acquiring this cloth. So your organization has a 4-die fund that you can dip into, which is essentially what Nikki's using to provide for you. So you get, unless Chris objects, you could use the fund.
So how little do I need for a challenging? Would that be I have 1 die and difficulty is 2, or?
Your question here is so yeah, go on.
If I succeed in a challenging resources roll,
Yeah,
I get more resources. How do I make it so that my roll is challenging then?
That's an excellent question.
Not difficult or routine.
Yeah, that's a good question. I am not exactly sure about the math here. I know it works, but I'm not sure how. So let's see. Faith works like perception. 1 resources test will put.
Oops.
Well, basically, I can't see how it can't be challenging for you. Since your own resources is still 0, but you get +4 from somewhere else, it's still your resources that is 0.
So here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna just make the rolls right now, and then I'm going to find out how you push it from 0 to 1. I'm going to quickly test for that. So I'll get back to you on how you advance that skill, but first we'll just see if you succeed.
Okay. So difficulty 2, yes.
Yes.
And if I take 2 dice, can the others then not only take 2 dice as well?
In your
all of you
last
can.
The funds is D4. If you fail, it can be depleted.
Okay.
Meaning that it will go from D4 to maybe D3.
E.
If you succeeded, nothing will happen.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll roll with 4 dice then. And why don't I fork astrology into it so I can make investments at the right dates?
Let's see. I have something here. Link tests rules and advancement rules. Generally, the first step to recovery any taxed resource is by getting a job. Next
I don't have a job.
The next step is to play the game. It needs to get their hands on large cash and untapped resource dice. Next, you need to start working advancement, and remember these must be in-game legitimate things. Anyone who's permanently at a B0 resources needs only 1 successful routine test to advance to B1.
Cool.
I don't get that.
You just need to succeed, basically.
Yeah. All right. So that okay. Cool. So the thing is, the character sheet says it has to be challenging, and that might be the case. It might be that what I'm looking at here online is out of date. But right now we'll just work with the assumption that it just has to be a routine test.
Yep.
So yeah.
But that means I already have 1 resources then.
No.
Because I made a routine test when I gave my cash die away. I gained a difficult test.
Yeah, but you failed that, right? No, that's not how it works.
No, we did pay him.
You did pay him, and you didn't know.
He got his money. It was
and
fine.
You didn't get that one. No, that's true. Yeah, you should have done that.
Gave away my cash die.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch up with that now, I guess. So, let's have you roll first, Rasmus.
Yes, so I can add 4 bonus die
Yeah.
to this dice. Okay, and is it all right if I fork in astrology just because I like the mental image of him using astrology to find the best time to invest his money?
Let's see. I'm gonna check astrology and see if it can only be forked into skills or if it can be forked into stats. Because resources is resources is an attribute.
It could still be cool though,
It could.
because
Also, if you want to make a document, I can totally invent some constellations for the world.
And I like that we're doing this as it happens. I prefer it this way,
Ah.
actually. The study of the stars, planets, astrology may be forked with any skill except for those of martial or physical type. However, astrology fork dice are different, open-ended but not standard. Blah 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 blah. No, it can be forked on skills. This is not a skill.
Okay. Still done that, but base obstacle was 2.
Yeah.
You're incapacitated.
Okay, so instead, just roll 46.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I might be incapacitated.
No. This is just us not using the character sheet the way it was intended.
Yeah, that's not right. Oh, it's supposed to be SD. Like that. Boom.
Boom.
Okay, so 2 successes.
Congratulations. So you maintain your lifestyle. None of your stuff breaks. You are in decent health, except a bit hungry right now. And you get a routine resources test. So up your resources to B1.
How do I do that? Do I just overwrite what it says?
Yep. Just where it says 0 right now, just put in a 1.
Cool. I'm rich.
Now, if it might be that I find out between sessions that it's actually a challenging test and there is some way you can earn it, and if that is the case, then I'm going to be a very sad, make you a very sad llama and retcon that. But we'll find out.
No, I'm rich.
Of course. Next up, I guess, is Minnow. You
Yeah.
too, like your brother, can use the resources you got from the funds.
Sure.
And as you helped on the resources test before with your cash die, definitely count as having a resources of 1 to begin with. So up your resources from 0 to 1.
Okay.
And you can roll like your 1 resources die, but with 4 extra dice if you want to.
And the base obstacle was 2? Even when I don't actually have a weapon?
Yeah, base op is 2. You have a weapon, you have a quarterstaff. It's not just a stick.
No, it's a stick.
No, it's not. It's a quarterstaff.
It's a stick.
You've paid arms price for it, so it's a staff.
It's a stick.
It's fine. You have
Found.
Heine with you, and he needs upkeep cost. So
I have Heine! I win!
yep.
I have Lord Heine.
Now, kindly roll your resources.
I just did.
No.
What happens if I go over the
Yeah, there it
successes?
is. My bad. If you go over?
Like now it's 2, but
Yeah.
if it was 3 or 4 or
nothing.
stuff like that.
You just succeed.
Okay.
Alright, so you earn a routine test towards your resources.
And we didn't deplete his funds.
Yep.
Yay!
And then there's Nikki. Nikki, your story is a bit different, though.
It now.
So, you're probably at maintaining a family in the city, maintaining a small business, a cobbler shop, maintaining oneself as a knight. That's probably what you are. So, you're rolling a resources test too, but you're rolling versus op 3.
Who's away?
Can I help him with resources?
You actually, strictly speaking, yes, you can. Because you have a resources now.
Okay,
so
so
does
that's
Rasmus. Rasmus could also strap in on this one. Actually,
No.
I would argue that he can't because he just earned it for the resource cycle. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
besides,
say no,
even
he
if-
can't. But
besides-
Also, he wouldn't if he could.
Yeah,
Minnow can
exactly.
help.
So that's
And that would
another
actually
one.
give me a difficult test.
So that's also that adds to the modifier, does it?
What's your question?
So help from Minnow adds to the modifier.
That's correct. Yeah, take 1
Yeah.
to your modifiers.
Okay, op 3.
And
And
then
for
you can, of course,
fun.
have the-
Yikes.
Like my life.
Beautiful. All right.
It's
3, 3, 2,
horrible.
2, 2,
Hideous.
4.
All right.
Wow.
So your funds are permanently depleted by 1. So your funds are now 3-die fund.
Fuck that.
Minnow and Nikki, you are temporarily taxed by 1 die.
What does that mean?
That means that your count is having resources of 0 until you do something to get that die back.
How would we do that then?
By getting a job, as the book would shout at you. But it's yeah, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna read it to you.
So all of these tests will always just be routine tests?
No, there will always be like the option of getting higher tests. It's essentially the more incredulous the thing you want to buy, the more extravagant it is, the higher the obstacle of actually buying it.
Right.
Now I have 2 routine tests at least.
All right, so recovering resources, unlike the body resources, don't recover on their own. They must be actively replenished. To rejuvenate his depleted reserves, the character has to do some kind of work. The player describes how he's going about earning cash, closing deals, and refunding his accounts. Such behavior is typically related to the character's lifestyle and maintenance obligations and must be tied into one or more of the character's skills. So in order to replenish his reserves, a poor knight has to ride a circuit with a few caravans. Pay is good, but work is boring, for example. So yeah, it's get a job.
Yeah,
I
jog on.
kind of like the
Sunshine.
idea that the smuggler needs to get a job.
He won't.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, right, I'm going to read this, right, between sessions, and I'm going to come to you with a more in-depth look on the resources. As we always get a more in-depth look whenever we do use something for the first time.
Smuggler by day, tax attorney by night.
Exactly. All right, so you fail your test in this case. So your resources are drained. That much we know. Something else happened, I wonder. So when you have a
Your
fun...
clothes all break.
No, because he had his fun.
No, I think we'll stick with just the fund is depleted by 1 in this case, instead of like having your stuff be threadbare and horrible.
Okay.
Cool.
Shall we have that break now?
Yeah, let's have a break. So we'll be back and continue the rest of the journey after this break. Catch you then.